Okay, so if you haven't seen the first two videos, this will kind of be the third one. So if you sort of see this one and you haven't seen the other two, check our channel and pick the ones out that came out right before this one, hopefully, if everything goes to plan. So we've got our positive wire coming through here and it's just hanging around there at the moment. So what we need to do, we've got our, what are we going to call this? We're going to call this the fuse box, aren't we? I think it's going to go that way with a positive at the top. We're going to mount that just like that, okay, and then we need, see, red, positive, see, positive. That would mean that's going to come in the top, so I'm going to drill a hole through there. We're going to drill one through the bottom for the, get the right way around, right? So that one's going to come into the top and connect there. The negative can come in the bottom, and then we can use all these, or all your negatives, and these are your positives with your fuse individuals, right? You know what I mean. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you know, talking about that, then don't do it. I'm not trying to make you an auto electrician. This is just giving ideas for the people that kind of know, or if you've got half an idea, you know what this is, then I'm just giving you ideas how to run your wires and stuff like that, and what I'm going to do, and you might like it. These are from Every Battery. They're good quality. I think they're $30 now. Pretty sure they were only about 20 last time I got one a couple of years ago. That's how much COVID things have gone up, but they're really good quality. I reckon they're worth $30, so whatever, right? So that goes there. You get the idea. We're going to have some holes in each side as well, right? So that's why the trim's off, so we can get in behind with the drill. I'm not going to pull the whole trim off because it's a bit of a pain down around there, whatever. We can just unclip it and flex it back enough. You know, you can see we can get the drill. I'll get my hand to here, and it might be a bit of mucking around, but we can get the drill in. There's plenty of room in there. Bit of maneuverability. We have to pull that. See that insulating foam around that side there? That's on the other side, inside there. That'll get pulled out. So I'm not going to set up the camera, and I'm just going to tell you what I'm doing step by step. So at the moment we're going to mount that. We're going to drill some holes, and then, you know, sooner or later we're going to get some wires coming into places and whatever. Now, you don't have to run the negative into this and use these. You can just take an earth from one point. So you could take an earth from 1 or 2 or 3 points in here. You'll find some threads around there. So there's one right there in the middle, right in front of our face. So you can scratch that paint off, put a bolt in that with a terminal, and that will do the job. You want to be sure? Find another one or two. There's a couple in there. There's a couple in there with threads in them, I'm sure. A bit further up, there's another one, I reckon. Anyway, hard to see at the moment. You could just run those and then bring all your, sorry, I'm not saying bring it. You could bring all your negatives in. Hang on. What am I trying to say? Wipe that. What I'm trying to say is, if I stop bloody getting confusing myself, you don't even have to use this, right? So you can run that to there, and you can use those. We got to put it all. It's all the same, right? It's like what you would call common, then, right? You know, common earth. But what you could do, the whole vehicle's earth. So you don't actually need to use this at all. If you want to make it look good and be an auto electrician and bring it in there and then take them all, you can do that. But I'd suggest that's just a pain, because when you put all your power outlets in here, the wire's going to go off the back. You're better off just taking that direct to earth, because you don't need to seat, you don't need to maintain it, you don't need to do anything. So that's probably what I'll do. So later on in videos, when you don't see any wires or anything here, that's because you don't need to. The whole system's going to be earth, or common if you like, for the AC guys, and I'm not one of those, I'm just doing my best. These are your fuses here. So your main positive power, this one here, right, is going to go bada bing, and then all your other ones are going to go out, your individuals, whatever, and we'll set up like we did before. I'll have to watch one of my old videos to work out what's what, because I've forgotten, you know, which one was which, just to keep it the same. Doesn't really matter, to be honest, but we're going to have one lot of power outlets on one, or we might just put it all on one. We'll have two separate ones for the fridges, one for each fridge wire that's run separately as well, because fridges, a bit of a current draw. And we have a tracking device as well that could get connected directly to one of them, constant power. So there you go. If you steal this vehicle, you've got to go looking for that as well. Now you know where it is. That worked well, didn't it? Yeah. Anyway, we're going to get on with it. Okay, so what have we done? What have we done? What have we done here? So what we've done is we've put the 4 self-tapping screws through and mounted the block. We've passed that wire that, you know, it's not permanently routed. You can see it's just hanging there at the moment. But we've just put it through the hole. I've used a 9mm drill bit. Okay, and that fits through there. I'm happy with that at the top there. And at the sides, we've drilled 3 holes each side in approximate alignment where the wires will come through for any connections, right, both sides. And now next is we need some wires to come through there, which means we need our switches, charging, whatever bits and pieces we want to put there. We're going to keep it simple. We're going to have, there's going to be a voltmeter to tell us what the dual battery is when we're at the back of the vehicle, so we can just have a look and go, oh yeah, you know, that's where it's at. There's going to be a couple of twin USB power points, and there's going to be some accessory sockets. We could probably get away with less, so I'm going to have a think about it before I do this. But we're going to mark that up on the masking tape and cut out what we need to cut out to get that mounted. And then before we mount it, we're going to wire it all up and whatever. So a nice little fun auto electrical job. So this one's going in the 4-way. You can see it's got one accessory, one USB. It's got one. How to switch? I don't need a switch. I don't want to switch. Look, if you don't want to drain your battery, it's a good idea to have the switch so you can switch it off. But I go, you know what, I'm going to be driving the next day, or it's going to be on a charger, one or the other. You know, it's going to be getting solar charging, AC charging, or it's going to be getting driven. So I don't want to switch it off. To me, that's a waste of space where I can have one of these mini USB. So probably what I'm going to do to keep it simple, I'll probably put the voltmeter, 2 USBs and 1 power outlet, and then maybe one of each on another one of these plates, either above or below it, probably below, but I'll just make it up as I go. And there you can see there's some spare bits and pieces, and I don't really use the terminals that come with them, you know. The quality, it's okay, I just kind of don't like them, so I'll probably use a better quality one. But anyway, some awesome crimpers and get it all crimped up. So yeah, first we've got to do is get these off and mark it up. Oh my gosh, that looks terrible. Someone's drilled holes in the vehicle. Oh no. And there's all this mess everywhere. I used a step drill just to drill those out. The exact size hole saw I didn't have here. It's at another location. Got a whole heap of hole saws, never the one you want when you need it. So step drill worked out well because the largest size was 30, and I reckon that's about right. Now what I'm going to do, there's a couple of different ways I've done these. Individual's good because you can use the screw thing and screw it in from behind. That's one way to do it, but I still think it looks good with that trim fascia on it, so we're going to use that. So to make it easier for wiring, so I can wire it all up on the bench and just slip it in, and there's going to be wires between all these, I'm going to just cut out those sections, get rid of that, give it all a bit of a clean up, and it'll be looking good in a minute. Don't worry, it's all good. So I've got the configuration how I want it. Voltmeter top left, then USB at the top, couple of accessory points at the bottom, and then a couple more USBs. I'll run separate to this block, will be separate to that. So those two are ready to go in. We just got to get all the wires. We'll get all the wires wired up on the back. That's pretty straightforward. Okay, next little session. So we've taken these to the car, made sure they fit in. We had to actually get the die grinder and take out a little bit more to allow for those, because I just measured up those, drilled those, then cut the section out, forgot about these little things. So little bit of die grinder, not on the inside, just around the outside. So you've got to go within about, if you do it yourself, if you trace out the outside, the sides, you can come in, looks like I'm estimating here, but you can see to the inside of the holes, right, is about the line. Probably leave about, you know what, let's not do abouts. It depends on the switch you use, right? You can get these from J-Car for, each switch is about 30 bucks each, or you get them off eBay and you get the whole 4 of them for about 20 bucks. But anyway, delivered, all right? So about 10 mil in, but the point is, see, top and bottom, you've only got, you know, a couple of millimeters, right, from the edge. So you got to be careful there, because you don't want to cut out too far, because then you'll see it once it's screwed on. So point is, we've got all those to fit properly. I've decided I'm going to use the little terminals that came with it, because they weren't too bad. I checked them out, and as long as you've got a decent crimping tool, they should work out all right, and of course as long as you use it the right way. Anyway, this is what I do. I just use, I've got some spare wire sitting around, right? This is whatever, I can't remember how many amps or what size it is, but it's plenty for what I need to do, more than I need. So I just split it at the end, put 2 terminals on. Obviously get your positive and negative correct for people that don't know. Negative, you know what a negative single and a positive symbol. Positive's red, the one with the black line's negative, right? So we've just done the end, got, yep, that's about the right length, cut it, twisted it, put it in, crimped it, and of course I put a zip tie there just to join the two together, whatever, in case there's any pulling on this wire here, which there won't be. This is a really safe type of connection, because if this was to get pulled and the, say, I don't know, the plugs came off, which it's not, they can't touch each other because they're fully insulated at this end. At the other end of the wire, what we're going to do, this is going to get a I terminal, right? So obviously probably the blue size again for the wire, doesn't matter if it's blue or red, whatever fits, probably blue. and with a 6mm hole, because the black one, that's going to go to earth on the vehicle. We're not going to put it through that splitter block, you know, the fuse block thing, you know, this is the one this is the cover for. So that's going to get an I-terminal, and this is going to get the same, but maybe with a smaller hole because it's going to that fuse block. Anyway, we'll get on with that. We've done this one. Finish the cup of tea, and then I'll get this one wired up. Then we take this to the vehicle, and we can wire all that in position because the battery isn't connected. And I'm a bit crazy, so what I do, see, I leave. Well, if we can get the focus right, but look, I'm trying to focus up here, mate, up here, not down there. Okay, let's put on the bench and then keep everyone happy, right? See how I leave the wire sticking out? So you get a good crimp going, and then the actual wire itself might be under the head of the bolt as well, if you take care when you're, you know, putting the screw in, or the screw in that case, because that goes to the fuse box. See what I've done there? That's the smaller one. It might look big, but that's the smaller one. This one's slightly bigger so that it can get this 6mm. See, perfect size, right? But see what I've done, what I'm trying to demonstrate. I've got the wire there, and I'll probably flatten it out, or I might put it on the other side because of which way the bolt's turning, and trying to get that bit of wire there crushed. So then we've kind of got a double connection. Sometimes I get crazy and I want to put some solder on here as well. We've done that before. With this one, I'm not going to do that because it's not a high current draw situation. It's just some USBs to charge phones and stuff like that, and little lights, and it's not imperative that if it's not going to come off anyway. Like I've tested, it's strong as anything, and it's going to be doubled up with that bolt under there. So I'm not going to solder those, but sometimes I actually, and does everyone know how to solder? You apply the heat to the two items. You don't hold the solder and touch it on there and then put the solder on the iron and it just goes all over the iron. You need to apply the heat to these here. Right, so you put your iron or whatever you've got here without melting the whole wire and everything. Just put your heat up here. Once it gets warm enough, the solder will take to the two surfaces and yeah, connect them together, rather than you putting it all over your iron making a big mess. Anyway, watch some YouTube videos or something, I'll show you how to do it. So here we are at the vehicle. Basically, yeah, we're just going to drop those wires. The black one's just going to hang down behind here. Remember, all the trim's still loose. We can still access everything from behind. We can get our arms in there. It's all really pretty easy to do because you can get your, even when the trim's bolted up, so because you can get your arm in there. You've got these holes here now at the moment. It doesn't matter how tidy they look or not, whatever. Careful you don't have a little slip. Looks like I might have had a little slip there. All right, see? You get that. Right, so if I do it, look out. I'm not doing it, so don't worry, only I've got to worry about that. You have a big cleanup at the end. We clean up as we go a little bit, but big cleanups at the end. So that wire's going to hang through. This little red one, it's going to come straight through that hole there, because it's going to go at the bottom, because it makes sense, yeah? Bottom goes to the bottom. Second one will go to the second one. Makes sense, yeah? So the red is going to go onto that screw right there. Okay, this is the fuse for it. And the black is going to go onto the earth. See that screw there? We're going to clean the paint off there, right, with a bit of emery paper, rough it up and get that paint off, and that's going to be our earth. And for R&TU purposes, right, I'm not going to, sometimes I double up and go to another earth as well to be sure. I'm not going to do that this time, right? I'm not going to do it, because worst case scenario, it doesn't work, then we can go fix it and tell you, oh look, you know, but there's no reason why it wouldn't work. So rather than double or triple up like I normally do, just to be OCD crazy to be sure, I'm not going to do it this time, okay? So that way I can then say, same as we're just going to use the SBI. I've never said you need a DC-DC charger. I don't like them, they're expensive. Sometimes you need them, but I've never said that. So this vehicle, we're not running one. Simple isolator, reliable. You can jump start the vehicle. There's so many advantages of keeping things simple and light and cheap. If there's a problem with it, we'll let you know. We're going to have the bracket from Cohen, which allows for both anyway, so we can upgrade later if we need to, or for whatever other purposes. Bada bing, let's get this in. Okay, so here we are, literally minutes later. You can see that one's screwed in, and they're upside down on purpose so that when I unplug them, they hang down. Otherwise, they always hang in your way when you're trying to plug it in one-handed, right? And you've got to get your handle lifted up. So I don't care about upside down. I care about ergonomic is a very important word in what I do. So you can see the wires there where it's all sitting at the moment, right? Like I said, it's just flopping around at the moment. We make a little adjustment on some wires at the back there. Nothing's going to touch anything anyway. But whatever, right? You can see how rough it looks, but once you put your panel in, look at it, beautiful. Don't worry about cutting up your trim. It's not a problem. Trust me, people do worse than that. And here's that earth cable here, easy access for any sort of servicing or problems. And as I said, the other one's connected. We've turned it around so it looks neater, and that wire will be pressing into that flat steel behind. So not only have you got your connection between your wire and your terminal and then your terminal to the screw, you've got your wire direct to the terminal behind the screw as well, which is just awesome, right? And there it goes through there. You can see where it goes. Beautiful. And I reckon that's just a beautiful thing, really. You know, look at that. It's just beautiful. So, you know, when you're putting 2 wires in, it's hard to get them all the way in, but we're not talking about 240 volt here. And it's good that there's no wire exposed, but even if there was, it wouldn't matter. The crimps are just awesome. They're strong as anything. I've pulled on them. You can see all the little zip ties I've used to add a bit of strength, just holding things together. Not that anything, all these are nice and tight. Make sure they're not loose. They're going to slide off. If you're not happy with them, then get rid of them. Obviously, we'll have to push a couple more on properly. And of course, the bit of wire I was using was getting short, so I stole a little bit of that twin core off the other job we were doing. So we've got a little bit of extra insulation there as well, which is bonus. We'll just fit off those end terminals, same as we did on the other one. There we go. And because we used the slightly bigger wire, we had to use blue, but you can see the 2 different sizes. That's on the black, you can see the 6mm hole for the earth, and the smaller size for the other one. Smaller size hole, doesn't matter. I mean, you can mix and match a bit, but I was lucky. I think that bottom one, that's the last one I had in that size, so I better get another pack. Here we can see that's all wired up, ready to go. The crimps are awesome, same thing, little bit of wire there. So when we turn it around, it just all gets squashed under there. A bit of a double up. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't matter, because we don't need that to happen. It's just a bonus. Let's get it to the vehicle. All right, here we go. There you go. Look at that. Beautiful. Now the problem is it doesn't work yet. So down here we got 2. We got that one, and there'll be another one here somewhere. I don't know. I'll find it. It's hanging around somewhere. Where is it? You know, hanging around somewhere. Anyway, it'll be there. All right, we got to find it now just for the video to go. Okay, so there's the first one. Let's put that. That's that one. Where's the other one gone? It'll be there somewhere. So there it is there, right? Got that one. Right. And that one. Once they're connected to earth, that's the black. That's the negative. That's common. That's connected, right? But it's not going to do anything because our battery isn't connected. Remember the short black strap that's got to go from the negative at the front, but worry about that later. And also it won't do anything because we haven't connected our positive at either end either. So what will happen next is we'll clean this off, put a nice bit of heat shrink on there, nice terminal, the best one we can get. The problem we got here is we've got a really big cable coming in and a pretty small terminal. So, but we'll do the best we can do. It won't really matter. We'll have a bit of a clean up because there's all bits of plastic and stuff that I left everywhere from, you know, look at it all still falling off. Anyway, look at that, nice and neat. That's as simple as that, guys. That's how it's done. As far as wiring up those goes. So part 3, I suppose, covered a fair bit more information and getting those wired up and installed. Similar on any vehicle, same sort of scenario. So what we'll do is we will, there's no need to show you that, you know, whatever, we'll get to that. Once that's done, okay, what we're going to do next is we're going to run out, we've got a couple other wires for the power for the fridges, so the fridges don't run off this. We've got a couple of drawer fridges. They'll use probably these 2 at the bottom here, and they'll go out and around and whatever, because we need the power just at the back here for the compressors and whatever. So we'll sort that out. Then we'll put all this back in once we get that set up and all that connected up. So we can probably we'll connect up our earth when we run those wires, because we're going to have 4 of them all in a pile, right? So, and obviously clean that paint off. So that's next. That'll do for this video though. Hope you get the drift. Hope you get my drift. That was part 3, setting up, doing the electrical, which is probably going to be mod number sort of around 19 and 20, but I'll give you the exact numbers in other videos and posts. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe, turn the bell on. What are you doing? And hit the like button if you liked it. If you think I earned it. Thanks for watching. See ya.